Well, here we are the next morning. And I'm a little sad to say it's about a 50% fail, I think, we've got here. A couple things happened, I think. I don't think we got enough epoxy on the top skin that we flipped over. I think that was a little too thin. And consequently, I don't think we put enough epoxy on the top side of the foam. Because if you can hear, it's the top skin I don't think stuck very good to the top side of the foam at all. It looks like we got plenty on the bottom side because there's a shitload of squeeze out on the bottom. I mean, that's all epoxy coming out of there. So I think that part is fine. It also, there's a weird amount of warpage on this panel too. So I'm not sure. I don't know if that's because of the skin on the top not being stuck correctly or what, but anyway, so yeah, there's a few issues with this panel here. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I think what I'm going to try is I've got my drawing here for all the panels that are supposed to come out of this full panel. So I'm going to cut down here at about 8 feet, 97 inches. I'm going to cut a full swipe across there and see what it looks like in the middle. I think I'm just going to cut my panels out of this thing and then see how bad the skin is delaminating off the top, and then I may just peel the top skin off and see if I can re-epoxy the top skin on. Maybe, we'll see. Also, I had a little bit of a issue with the table here too, so I had a spot that was I didn't get the plastic far enough underneath, and all the squeeze out stuck to the table, and I had to had to chisel that shit off of there. So anyway, this is a huge learning curve. I've never done this before. I don't know anybody that's done this before here, locally, that I could talk to about it. Styromax on YouTube and their Facebook page, they post a ton of pictures and stuff, and I've looked at a bunch of stuff and talked to those guys a little bit, but it's the difference of me doing it in my own shop with homemade everything versus those guys have millions of dollars worth of equipment doing their stuff. So I don't know, we'll see. I'll cut this apart and see if I can salvage this panel. Oh, so one other thing that I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera or not, but these edges kind of are rounded over a little bit, and I think that also contributed to this not sticking in here as well. So I think what I need to do is I need to put like a piece of wood or something hard at the end here that the rubber membrane can suck down onto and not put direct pressure on the edge. I think that will save the edges a little bit too. So anyway, yeah, so I'll see if this panel is salvageable. I've got extra skin. I bought, I had to buy more than I needed. So the only thing that I would be short on if I had to remake this panel is foam. And I could probably order a small batch of that from my local place where I got this stuff. So yeah, it's, could turn into some wasted material, but we'll see if we can salvage it, cut it apart and see what happens. So I don't know. Let's make a cut. Alright, so I'm cutting into this panel a little bit. Seems like some of it's pretty salvageable. I've got rear support, one of the inner fender wells, and the front fender well cut there. And I just, also have rear shelf face and the inside wall of the pantry over there cut. So it seems like it's okay. Yeah, you can see there's a couple little spots here and there that are, there's some air gap in there. So we'll see. Once I get, this big piece right here is the bed platform. So once I get this piece fully cut out, because there's a access panel I'm putting in here for the rear to get into where the slide out kitchen is. Once I get everything cut out of the bed platform piece, then I'll be able to look on the edges and see how bad it is, and how if I'm going to need to attempt to re-glue some of the skin onto the sheet. But so far all the panels that I've cut out of that end of it seem to be okay. So we'll see how it goes. I think that even if the skin is not stuck in a few spots on this one, I'll still be able to salvage it. I think I'll be able to get a big syringe or something if there's some big spots that are up, and I can probably peel the skin up a little bit more, squirt a bunch of adhesive in there, epoxy in there, and then just put some weights on it and let it cure, and I would think that that would be okay. So anyway, I'm starting to cut panels. It's starting to get exciting. It's starting to actually look like what it looks like on my screen, so that's pretty satisfying to see that starting to come together. Alright, I got some panels cut. I basically cut up the whole first entire panel, and I've got all the fender wells and the bed platform all except for this front one here. I'm gonna actually make that one out of some scrap pieces because it's small enough that it won't matter if there's a seam in the skin, but this thing is looking like a camper. I'm pretty excited. This is looking really good. Yes, I'm pretty happy with the way these panels have turned out so far. You can see though, like I'm gonna have to do some repair in a couple of spots. There's a spot there that needs more adhesive put in it, and there's a spot back here on the back of this panel. You can see there's a pretty decent air gap there. Not sure what happened. I'm going to try a couple of different methods on the next panel, clamping them down with some long pieces of plywood or something to put a little bit more even pressure with the vacuum table. So, but yeah, I am going to have to do a little bit of repair on this one. And like I said, up at the front up there, I put these on just to mock it up. I got in there and laid down, and there's a ton of room for two people to lay down. So yeah, it's starting to actually feel like a camper. So I've got this pink thing that I cut out. I can't remember if I showed it before or not, but that's like the back part of the panel where the rear storage is. So yeah, getting pretty excited. This is looking like it may actually work.